All right.
Yeah, no, I'm not playing it on a fucking phone screen. There's way too much going on. That's too fucking tiny.
Right, but you can do the same thing, but with your laptop.
Yeah, well, I mean, that doesn't make any sense. If I was going to do that, I would just take the laptop into a different room. That's not, the point is the couch is the only comfortable place to use the laptop, is my point.
Okay, well that's a different thing.
Block of ice.
What?
Sit on a block of ice.
I guess. I'm like, I consider the kitchen table because the air conditioner points directly at one spot, but then I can't control myself and I'll hurt my back leaning forward.
Is it a cloth couch or a leather couch?
Leather.
Okay, that's the problem. Your balls
Yes,
get
that's
stuck.
definitely part of the problem. Yeah, well, because I wear big shorts and then, my legs are touching the couch. Plus the, laptop in your lap is hot. Plus, headset hot.
Yep, that's it. That's the problem.
Anyway, I'll see how it is on the desktop. I'll do that before we play together, so I'm not finding out right then if it's too shitty.
Yeah, you'll need to do that before you reach Act 3.
Yeah,
Or,
it's too late for that.
Yeah. I'm glad you finally figured out where you were supposed to go.
Let's go north.
Man, yeah, there's a lot. It's a very large city. It's like...
Yeah, Act 3 is longer than Acts 1 and 2 together.
Yeah.
I already know going to the city is going to drive me fucking nuts because even now, when I go to like any little inn or shop or whatever, the first thing I have to do is talk to literally every single person there.
It's not so bad because a lot of them are just called citizen and can't.
Most of them won't talk to you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They'll say like
God.
one word or something. But yeah, I know. Yeah, I tried talking to everybody. I'm like, nobody wants to talk.
Yeah. Excuse me. All right, we better get started because I'm already tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I got my weighted blanket on. I got my blanket, and it's gonna rain tonight, so it'll be a really good night's sleep.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody
maybe the
else.
couch would be okay because the air conditioner's on now, so maybe that'll be fine. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, yeah, you'll figure it out. We got time. Anyway, welcome to Out Now Play Outcast, our podcast on the Night Living East Network. This is your host, Nick. I am hosting this thing. That is Andy over there, and that is Brian over there. And we're going to be talking about Season 46, Episode 7, which was titled Episode Several. And I just realized, as I was watching it, that they never said the name of the episode because the episode was a joke.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, Jeff kind of said it. That was kind of the point.
Kind of. Well, but that's the thing is he didn't say Episode Several.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they just really must hate Jolinsky. Yeah.
Well, he's a legend.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they probably do because he's basically a quitter. So.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, what was it? At 7 minutes into the thing. Well, we'll get into it when we actually talk about the episode. Somebody read that because I'm too tired.
Brian, you can do it, or you want me to do it?
My own read.
You do it. I don't read things.
Here we go. It's time for blood. Tevin is ready to drop Soda as soon as practical and is elated that Soda and Venus are at war. Charlie throws a wooden shoe by admitting to Venus that he voted for her. We skip straight to a double immunity plus reward challenge. Jeff gets good dig at Janikowski. Q and Soda are the first ones out. Tim, Tevin, and Q give America a lesson on the culture. And everyone lasts until folks have to start standing on one foot, at which point it's a straight-up drop fest, resulting in Kenzie getting immunity. Kevin laughs it out a little longer. Toughs it out. I should be wearing my glasses when I read this. Tevin toughs it out a little longer, but can't outlast Maria. The initial targets look to be Charlie and Ben, with Tim bucking for Hunter due to his tribal history, and Tevin bucking for Venus because she's Venus, until he switches to Soda because he wants to make a move. Venus, however, plays very hard and puts a target on her back, but given something Maria and Tevin said, they know Venus isn't a threat, so she'll never win and should make it to the end. Q chronically overthinks the situation and rubs Tiffany and Kenzie the wrong way. First Tribal Council is a Kumbaya friendship festival, leaving Tim on the wrong side of the vote because he couldn't commit to the Journey 6. I almost read January 6th.
January 6th Alliance, that would be one skipper alliance.
That's a whole. Well, that's the heel turn bit right there. In the second console, Tevin worked his move and blindsided Soda, but Venus took credit.
I mean, if you wanted to get her out the whole game, and then the first chance you have, you get her out. You know,
It doesn't hurt. I mean, this really actually now I think about it, that really was their first actual tribal.
yeah. Well, I mean, because
They were immune, right?
yeah, Soda was immune last time, so
Yeah.
Yeah. I really gotta wonder, do you think they're gonna make another Janikowski joke throughout the course of this season?
no. I think they made their point.
No, if they were going to do one of those old school things where they have the torches in a row and you have to remember every player, then for sure it would happen. But no, otherwise.
Okay.
Do you want to make a bet?
No, it's all right.
Oh, okay.
I would be much more comfortable if they just never mentioned him again. I'm ready to put the past behind me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll delete this thing out of the notes.
Oh, you were gonna make a bet?
No, don't you see this huge picture of him in the notes?
Giant picture of Janikowski. He was one of the few people who wasn't selling his own merch before the season started, but now he is.
All right.
He's selling shirts,
Wait,
Janikowski shirts.
what material or what merchandise would other people be selling?
I honestly, I don't know all of them, but there's some, like Carson did, right? Selling shirts of himself and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't even know who in this season who would be doing it, but whatever.
See why he doesn't have to stop, because it doesn't in any way mention Survivor on the shirt.
Yeah.
Legends never die. Interesting. Well, good for him. Slot machine salesman and now a t-shirt entrepreneur. Good for him. I really liked this one. It was I like what they're doing where they're preventing or they're making it harder for power blocks to stay consolidated. Because if you think about it, the second group that went into this tribal council didn't even know who got voted out in the first one, so they couldn't metagame based on that. Like when they found out Tim was gone, I mean, not that it would have changed much or anything really, because they were ready to get rid of Soda. And I understand why Tevin wanted to get rid of her. She was playing the same game he was, and it's like, I want to be the uncontested social player. But it was an interesting one. I liked the challenge. I liked everything about it.
Yeah, I think we have finally had the villain emerge, and it's definitely Q.
He's being a little big for his britches, yeah.
He's being a fucking asshole, is what he's being.
He
added three more people this episode to the you have to play the way I say or you're terrible.
I really enjoyed Tim at the challenge when he was doing the shout outs, and then Q started doing his own shout outs. He was saying something like, if you're not in the fight, you don't get to talk, or something along those lines. I mean, which was a playful jab because Q had said the exact same thing just a couple minutes earlier. But that was nice. I like that little bit of those interactions.
I like that a lot. I think what makes Q more of a villain is he I don't know whether or not he actually did a flop in the challenge and gave up.
Oh, he definitely. He's so full of shit.
Yeah.
He did not. It didn't even make sense, his excuse. He was like, I'm going to see if my team is loyal. Why would you have to lose to do that?
Well, he was saying he wanted to stay under the radar as a physical threat and test his alliance, right? And then
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That doesn't make any sense.
right. But then he immediately, like, in a confessional, is like, Tim's like trying to keep multiple avenues to the final. He wants to have this Journey 6, and he wants to have Sega, and he wants to have his thing with Ben, but which one is it going to be? And it's like, well, yeah, Q, that's how you play Survivor. Because if he's just with Ben and then Ben's gone, then he has no routes to the end. Like, he's trying to keep his options open and get to the end, right? But it's like, beyond that, the criticism of Tim doing that is super hypocritical because Q is doing the same fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
Q wants the Journey 6 and he wants Yanu. And I bet if any conversation was like, oh, let's get out Kenzie, Q would not be like down for that, right? He'd be like, no, I need to keep Kenzie. I mean, she's not one of the part of the Journey 6. Are you just trying to have a Yanu route to the end as well, Q? I don't know which one it is here because you got to pick one, right?
No, I gotta say, I really think he probably would have gotten rid. That he will happily get rid of Kenzie at some point. 'Cause remember, Kenzie is competing for Tiffany's loyalty, so he will get rid of her. But the thing is, he doesn't need to just get rid of her right now. It certainly helps to have 3 people on his side. And let's not forget, he couldn't get rid of her this episode.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I don't know. It's this whole Journey 6. We knew it was going to fall apart immediately. I was just surprised how fast it fell apart. And Tim was like, Hunter's a big physical threat. And nobody puts voice to the fact that, yes, that was the whole fucking point, Tim. The whole fucking point of the quote-unquote Journey 6 is that you have the 3 biggest, strongest guys together to be meat shields against each other. And they all bring in one more person, so they have numbers and goats to sacrifice. That was the whole point of their conversation. So when Tim's comes up and he's like, Hunter's a big threat. Like, I don't know why nobody voiced like, yeah, we know. That was the point, Tim.
Yeah. It's also a bit of a shame that he didn't know what was going on in the other half of the tribe, because he wanted to get rid of Anami for the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
That totally makes sense. He doesn't want to get screwed over. So I understand why he was saying, like, well, sucks that it's going to have to be Hunter today. It should have been someone else, but he's the only one we can get rid of. So I get it, but yeah, like, I think he played it wrong. I mean, that seems like a pretty simple that seems like a pretty obvious statement. I know, seeing as how he got voted out. But that's the thing, is like, if he had just stuck with it, he would have had his cake and eaten it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I really thought I got more points than this. Oh, well, I didn't.
Fantasy, Fantasy this year is very low scoring, I gotta say.
Well, no, wait. I should have gotten more. Oh, no, you counted that. All right, don't worry about it. Wait, there was a feast. That's a reward.
See, I don't know. Some seasons we give them points for going on the reward, and some points you have to win the. I don't. Okay, we'll do it later.
We'll talk about that later. Sorry, I was just thinking. I'm like, well, no, there's a couple.
Because we also didn't award points for last week. The people that went on the feast.
Well, all right, we'll talk about that later, because that's a whole other thing. But okay. I really think you can make the case for this one. Anyhow, don't worry about it. Yeah, I don't know. Q. What's it? So, like, it feels to me almost like Tiffany is playing the same game. It's just that she is playing it more under the radar than Q. Q's going a little too big, a little too fast.
Yes, from the Yano perspective, yes. I think the only difference is Q's hedging his bet with his Journey 6 thing, and I don't think Tiffany's a part of that. I think Tiffany's leading the Yanu stuff, and Q's leading the Journey 6 stuff. And I mean, the Journey 6 thing's like, it's dead after this, right? Like, Maria's not really a part of it. You just voted out one of your own. It's going to be a lot harder to move that forward.
Well, because the Sega members of the Journey 6 were Maria and Charlie, right?
Maria and Tim.
Oh, yeah, Maria and Tim.
Yeah.
So Maria, and then, like, she was always a part of it, and she was loyal enough.
Well, she didn't know she was a part of it until last episode.
Yeah, exactly. And she can bring Charlie in. And for that matter, they may even be able to, like I would not be surprised if they were able to bring in Ben.
Yeah, that's tough. Then you're bringing in a lot of people.
Oh, I mean, you're only sorry. I mean, as opposed to Charlie or whatever. Like, do people know? Like, this is where I always get confused. Do people know that Charlie and Maria are together?
I don't think so.
No, they don't. But
Okay.
But she's not going to continue to stick with them when they were like, "We're all together." Oh, you voted him out though, so obviously you're full of shit.
I feel like I mean, she's a pragmatic enough player that I feel like they could easily make the case. Because remember, Tim was more into her than she was into him. She wants to be in. Like she's a cunning player. I was going to say devious, but that's kind of loaded. She's a cunning player. She'll know that it's better to be aligned with the Journey 6 as well as have the ties to Sega. Because who else is left there? Is it just Ben, Charlie, Maria?
Who else was Sega?
Tim was gone. Mariah was gone. Not Liz. Oh, I'm gonna have to actually look at who's left.
Yeah, I think it is just those three now.
No, because only they voted out. Oh, they voted somebody out before the merge. I just don't remember who it was.
Yeah,
Wow,
so all that's left then is Sega, Ben, Maria. I mean, Charlie, Ben, Maria. Yeah.
Yeah, Charlie, Ben, Maria. So, that's also really interesting. The numbers do work out such that let's see. So you got 3 Yanu, you got 3 Sega, and now you have 5 Nami.
Yeah.
Yeah. But really you got 4 Nami and Venus. 3 Nami, Venus, and Liz, who while Liz is part of Nami, let's just be let's call a spade a spade. She's not gonna win this game. She keeps talking about how she has millions of dollars.
Well, and today she was like, I'm excited to be at Tribal, so we have a chance to play the game. Like, okay, but why? you haven't done anything. And even in this, you're just going along with the popular vote. Like,
yeah,
why?
Liz, and I say this not as a criticism of her. This is something we've said about players in the past. She has big, I'm just happy to be here energy.
See, it doesn't feel like that, because those people are like just happy to be here, are like here for the journey and the finding yourself.
For her, the journey, so to speak, is playing the game, like physically playing the game. It doesn't matter.
To me, it feels more like Survivor tourism.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, it is. She's just happy to be on the tour.
Wow, I get to go to Tribal now. Isn't this cool? Whoa, nice set, Jeff.
Yeah,
this is for the jury.
It's basically an escape room for her. And again, no tea, no shade, no lemonade. She's doing fine, but yeah. Do you think? Well, no. I was gonna say, do you think Hunter made the right move by not playing his idol? I would not have been surprised if he did, but I'm pretty sure like that was such not an obvious vote. What's the word? They were so confident with that one that there was no conflict.
I mean, I think it was ballsy that he didn't play it. Good for him, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's calculated risk, right? Because he plays it now, he guarantees that he moves forward. But right now, he's only seen as a physical threat, right? If he plays an idol, then he's a physical threat and an idol finding threat or something. Like he's some kind of, like that's a different category of threat, right? That we've seen people be and play. Yeah. And so it's like then he's a threat in multiple categories, and that just moves him from one category of threat to another, right? Like you said, he's not going to win 10 in a row. We'll have a chance later to get him out, right? But like if he wins 2 in a row, finds an idol, wins 2 in a row more, like then that's a real big problem.
I do hold it against Liz when she pulled the shit. I didn't even bring my stuff.
Yeah,
that's such a douchey move. Dude, I don't care what the hell else I had going on with alliances or anything. Somebody said that, I would be voting for them.
I know. She said that, and Jeff was like, what does that make you think, Charlie? And if I was Charlie, I'd be like, it makes me think we should vote for Liz right now because she's not expecting it at all.
Charlie played his part in this one pretty well, too. Like, as Venus is going around, he's just like, yeah, well, I'm pretty sure it's going to be me. I might, like, he did a good job of acting like, yeah, no, I'm definitely going to consider your offer here just now, and yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, at Tribal, that whole group all did their parts pretty well.
yeah. Soda really didn't see it coming, but I thought it was interesting the way that he kept his mouth shut when Venus was like, well, you know what we should do? We should go for Soda. And he was just like, well, I don't know. Like that was good. Like the ability to not get excited. Like a bad player would say like, oh, well, interesting you should say that because everyone's thinking of backstabbing her anyway or something along those lines. Dude kept his mouth shut. That's what you're supposed to do in that situation. Good for him.
I mean, even then, with a player like Venus who's going around trying to, like, quote unquote, make a move, right? Like, the worst thing you can do is feed that instinct when there's a plan that's set that benefits you, right? The plan is Soda. We're going to make it Soda. Venus isn't on the plan. That's fine. She doesn't have to be in order for it to work out. And if you bring her in, there's more of a likelihood that she's going to be like, oh, if everybody thinks it's going to be Soda, maybe I should switch it to Tevin and try to, like, outplay it, right? And she kind of hinted at that, but that was just her suggestion and that didn't go anywhere. And so, like, it sucks for her, but the best way to manage her in these kinds of episodes is just let her walk into a brick wall rather than let her go off and fuck something up that you don't want to get fucked up. Even if she wants to vote the same way you want to vote, just don't even encourage her. Just let her just be whatever.
Yeah. And Uncle Nick is going to turn his chair around and sit in it backwards and just rap with the internet for a minute here and say, hey, all you fuckers who were pissed off at the way Soda, whatever it was she said the last couple episodes ago, they were, well, not buds, but they respected each other. You don't know shit. Stop assuming you know everything that's going on. When Soda got voted out in this one, she immediately turned to Venus and said, it was you, huh? Now Venus said yes, and she was wrong. But in her mind, Venus thought it was her. And then they hugged. Side hug.
That's not a lie. She did vote for her. That's not...
Yeah, I think it was just in the moment Venus was like, yeah, I voted for you, or just kind of said yes or whatever. I don't know. I don't think she's trying to necessarily steal credit.
No, yeah. I really think she was, because remember, she probably assumes, oh, cool, Charlie went and he convinced other people to vote for her. Yeah. Anyway, point being, like, people who are complaining, like, oh, she just hates that skinny little. It's like, no, you don't know anything. You don't know anything, so just stop trying to do stuff. Internet. All right.
I am liking Tevin more and more. At first, he was like, there's that, like, drama kid personality that's, like, over the top that kind of rubs you the wrong way at first. But then if you're around it enough, you kind of start to like it.
Yeah, you warm up to it. And
yeah,
also,
that's Tevin for me.
It really helps. He gets a lot of... he's very expressive in his... what the fuck was that?
Demon.
Jesus. Anyway, it really helps that he's very expressive in his talking head and confessionals. Like, he reads people very well, too. Read in the sense of their motivations and stuff, not read in the sense... Well, I'm sure he could read someone for filth, don't get me wrong. But yeah, no, he's probably, at this point, my favorite of the people to hear. I think Hunter's probably going to be the one who ends up winning if he gets to the end, because he can say, I played the game and, I'm an introvert, but I still made friends. Whereas Tevin, yeah. But regardless, yeah, no, I'm liking him a lot.
For me, it's the moments like when Jeff is listing stuff off and he's like, and the winner of the word cream cheese Danish is Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
I laughed at that one. Just the cream cheese Danishes is what set it over the top to Lord Jesus.
He's very expressive. He's very Southern. I like that too. Bless his heart.
I mean, you think Hunter's in it to win if he makes it to the end?
Yeah, I really think he can. Unless, again, there's always the Erica factor. He could completely fuck it up, or somebody else could completely dominate in the final tribal argument stuff. But I think that he's got a really solid case for himself.
I mean, for me, what I appreciate about the edit for this season is there's only one or two, I think two players left that I can't really see having a shot at winning. Venus and Liz, but I can see Charlie having road to the end and a good argument. I can see Kenzie getting there and having a good argument. Q, Ben, Maria, even Tevin for sure. Tiffany, yeah, Hunter. Like a lot of these people, like usually at this point in the season, we're like, okay, it's a group of like 9, 10 players left, but really these 4 are the only ones that have a shot, right? Or these 4 are the ones that are clearly ahead, and all 4 of them have to get taken out, or one of them's a shoe-in to win, or a favorite to win, right? But I feel like all of these have a decent route there, and all of them have a decent shot.
Like, Ben is probably the one who has the least chance, but I would agree with you that he still has a chance.
Yeah, he's super likable, and if he goes with 2 people who are cutthroat, and what I appreciate about the season, there's lots of cutthroat players and people who don't necessarily get along with everyone, and if it's him and 2 of those folks, like, he doesn't have to have played a miraculous game. He could have just been like, these 2 were awful fucking people, and I was nice. And I made it here without being a fucking awful person. Like, that's worth something.
I'm pretty sure he won't throw them under the bus like that, but yes.
That'll be what the jury gets from it.
Statement, yeah.
I think Q is an awful person.
You think Ben's an awful person?
No, I said Q. Q.
Oh, Q. They said, I think he's an awful person. I was like, damn, that's pretty cold.
No, dude, Ben's like a sweetheart.
Yeah. He's still got that good attitude going for him, and I'm a fan. I'm a Ben fan. All right, we got to have more. Do we have more?
I don't know. That's the thing. This was a double elimination episode, and I feel like it wasn't particularly intriguing. Is that the right word?
Well,
both the votes, once like the dust settled and they got back, like the route felt pretty clear for both of them.
For me, it's more a matter of the decisions that they made sense, and I see why they went with both. So I can't really like speculate. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's no debate over these choices, right?
Yeah. So there's that, and like I said, I mean, I like the format of the season where you got to vote out 2 people, and you don't know who it's going to be. It's completely blind. You're going to even go on to another island, so you won't. Oh man, poor Siga Beach. Siga Beach got destroyed. I would like to see Yanu Beach and just see, because they had nothing to begin with. I feel like Yanu Beach is a disaster zone at this point.
That's where they're gonna send them after when it's the final like 4 or whatever, and they send them to a new beach at the very end. That's where they're gonna send them, is to Yanu Beach and go sleep under the fucking rock.
I would love it if they sent somebody to Exile Island, but instead of Exile Island, they sent them to Yanu Beach. Yeah.
So do you like the splitting because some of the criticism with the shortened timeline is that we get to this point in the game where there's too many players, but you're kind of mergatory, right? Starts, but there's too many players. So you still end up splitting them up into multiple groups, and then from there, that's when you that's what you eliminate after you split them. Like, some people would say that, like, just leave them, like, instead of doing this mergatory thing, just do a swap an episode earlier. Take the 3 tribes, swap them into 2, and then do the merge. Like,
I like it. And I mean, I've said before that a concept I'd like to see him do again is one world, where just day 1, everybody's on the same beach from the start. You're still in separate tribes and everything, but everyone's still on the same beach, sharing the same resources and whatever. Or
that's when they only did once, right?
Yeah.
Because nowadays when they do a gimmick, they do it 2 seasons in a row, because they're like, well, the new players don't know the gimmick yet in the second one.
Like, I just think it'd be a good idea, because then, like, the reason, Yanu strong, Dabu strong, whatever strong always works is because you spend so much time around these people, and then you don't interact with the other people, and they just become NPCs to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so like having something like that where no, now you know that person on the other tribe, and you've been in contact with them on a daily basis for 6 days before you even had a chance to vote for any of them. Like that is a really strong incentive I would feel for different dynamics to emerge. Now that said, like I only vaguely remember that season because it wasn't a very good season to begin with. There was only one interesting player, and he was the one that got appendicitis. Yeah,
I don't remember.
he
You mean
sucks.
Colton? Remember,
Yeah,
he was faking it. He didn't have anything. That was the.
oh, that's fine. I thought he was faking it the second time because he came back, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
second
he
time
came
just
back
quit.
and he was. Well, yeah, and he tried to claim that oh, I'm not going to be a huge asshole this time, and it was a total lie. It's an even bigger asshole.
Okay. Yeah, because I thought the faking a sickness thing was the second time around. So, oh, that's even worse. Yeah, well, fuck him. He sucks. Yeah. I mean, that was just not a very good season to begin with. But I mean, like, that's concept is still solid, and they're already practically doing it. So why not?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that I think didn't work before because the format of the show was different. But I think now, especially with the shortened timeline, like that's one that could work because not only are you sharing resources, that kind of stuff, but you have to worry about the friendships you make with other tribes. And if you vote somebody out, you have to worry about pissing off the other tribe pre-merge.
Yeah.
It lets you do all this gameplay stuff ahead of time, which I think in a 60-minute format, it's hard to show all of those interweaving dynamics every episode. But you got 90 minutes now, so
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that part of it.
you got time to show
bring
it all.
back. Bring it back, cowards.
Because and that gets rid of all, like, especially this season, I think there's been a lot of extra pushback against the shortened timeline and the 3-tribe format with 90-minute episodes because we had two at least full episodes of just Banu. And we get that, but we get that because Yanu keeps losing. Because that's the way the game is set up right now, right? You lose and you're just going to keep losing and losing harder until you manage to get yourself out of it. And they've said they're not going to change that. So fine, right? But sharing resources solves that problem and gives you a dynamic to enjoy watching. Like, like we got to know the Sega players before they ever went to Tribal, but it wasn't through any strategy conversation they had. It was because Ben and Charlie had a song naming competition,
And
like,
their salsa dance competition.
Yeah, like those were neat things to get us to know the personality of the tribe and all, but like that doesn't tell me what they're going to play like, And so now we get to this part of the game, and I don't know what kind of a game player Liz is. Right? I know she's rich and she's
not
there. Right,
she's just there to hang out.
Like I don't know. Let me find somebody else. Okay, everybody else is a player. It's fine. But like that's because we're at the point now where we know, right? We're into the season enough. But like, I don't know.
Yeah. On the other hand, there are definitely players that benefit from the current one. Like Venus would have been gone real fast if not for the current setup.
Yeah. Not for her being on Hunter's tribe.
No, I think where they merge, but then they split them up anyway. I think this is absolutely necessary. Otherwise, it's just going to be way too predictable. It's just going to be the tribe that has the most players coming to the merge just eliminates everybody else, and then well, I mean, at least they get close to it, and then they start trying to screw each other. But still, like the first few votes after that or after they merge are going to be too obvious.
Yeah,
might could. But
I like that this forces them to like you have to work with outside of your alliance because they're not there.
Yeah, well, it's also very dependent on casting because if you remember, all right, Gem, she was like, yeah, I can't wait to start making moves and doing chaos and stuff. Venus, just plain not a team player. Hugh, started this alliance, cross-tribal alliance from the jump. So there's multiple people in this. Mackenzie, even when they were all together, and when there was 6 of them, she was like, yeah, I want to start playing. I want to play hard, and I'll work with anyone. So, I mean, like, they had a cast this season who was more than willing to not have to be Sega strong.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is definitely it's definitely part of it's the cast, and I know you guys don't like follow the exit interviews and all that kind of stuff, but like this cast, like the edit is showing you like, oh, there's good vibes everywhere, and a lot of that's kind of coming from Sega and Ben and stuff, but the reality is a lot of this cast really don't like each other.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is a big change from the last few seasons. Like Marianne's season.
Wait, could you not tell from this episode?
No, but like Marianne's
Where
season.
Charlie was like, "Oh, I'm totally screwed," but then they're all just trying to vote each other out.
Right, but like that's the game, right? And I think the show's doing a good job of showing you like, oh, there's good vibes, but they still got to play the game, right? And it's kind of wrapping it up because you can do this with a selective edit into a tidy bow, right? But like last season we see like fucking Jake O'Kane hanging out at the bar with other players from his season. They're all chilling, you know, like pictures of them together. Marianne's got pictures of her hanging out with all the from her season, you know, like even fucking Gabler and his season. Like there's a lot of when these seasons end, these people still hang out with each other all the time, right? Like Jesse and Kobe and that kind of thing. But like the ones that are bad were 41 and this one they're not friends. They talk shit to each other, like genuine savage like shit to each other in exit interviews and on social media after the season. So we're not seeing it in the edit, but I think it's playing into the dynamic of the show for sure.
Fill me in a little. Who all? Obviously, I'm sure Venus and Soda were talking some shit in her exit interview. But who else has been talking about
Venus and Soda are not in for it. Tiffany is just trying to not talk about it as much as possible, which also says a lot. Like if you're already a public icon and you go into Survivor partially because of your public icon status, like you want to use it as an amplifier, not just ignore it after the fact. So just kind of ignoring it.
She's a public.
She's a on-screen personality for BET, I think it was. Q is not having a good time after the season was over. Kenzie's not having a good time after the season over. Venus isn't having a good time with the season over. Like there's a lot of people not having fun. Hunter's not saying nice things, which is weird because it's Hunter, and from watching the season,
I feel like he's probably not saying anything. It seems more likely.
Right, but that's what you would think.
Well, I feel. I mean, the deeper you go, the less you want to say because you have more to lose if you say too much, right?
Yeah.
And also, there's just some people like Hunter. Honestly, just seems kind of like a reserved guy.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So I think he's probably just not saying anything.
Yeah. Well,
regardless,
we'll see. Yeah,
but I mean, Q's pissed that everybody doesn't do exactly what he wants at all times.
Yeah. And I mean, I like talking about the show in the context of what's presented to us. We know we try to not talk about all the shit outside the show, and we also don't like. We're always careful to talk about these people as players and as characters almost, and this is not the summation of.
I don't care.
Right, but this is not the summation of who they are. You know, like it's a selective edit, and like you know, what you're seeing on screen is not their whole life and their actual real personality.
Yeah. For me, it's just I don't want to do homework. Like watching the show and doing the recording and everything, that's great and that's a lot of fun. But like, if there's stuff I need to know, then put it in the show.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And the show's curating experience for us, and the fun for us is watching that curated experience and not all of the other drama and tea and whatever else you want to call it.
Yeah. And they've done some good camera stuff, like in the last couple of episodes where, you know, they leave the camera hanging on someone while an event is going on. We talked about that when Venus and Hunter were chatting in the jungle, and like Venus was just talking to the camera, saying like, "Yeah, he's just gone. He just wants to get rid of me or whatever." Well, we're doing good stuff. Doing good stuff.
Speaking of good stuff, you want to move on to fantasy?
Yes, sure.
Brian, you give a shit?
Just what was that one with that when Maria and Venus were talking, and Maria was like, "You're coming on too strong," and like they're like just like talking like right in front of Charlie, like about him.
I really like that because Charlie was just like, just pretend like you're asleep. Just pretend.
He's like, really? Are they really doing this right here?
That was great. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Fancy. We had a bet resolved this week. The $1 million Deadpool. The $1 million Deadpool. In the first part of the episode, what was it? Venus was talking. Tevin was in a confessional saying how, Venus does this and that, and she slides closer to the bottom, and I slide closer to the $1 million. That kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Good enough.
I'm counting that. That's 3 points for me because I had Tevin in the $1 million Deadpool. We also got a Jeff hug, and the Jeff hugger bet was set to 1.5 over under. So if there's one more hug, I get those points too.
Did I go with the under?
Yeah, you and Brian both did the under on 1.5 hugs. But to be fair, there have not been hugs in a couple seasons. So
just surprised. I believe in friendship and idols and whatnot. So I just kind of assumed I usually go for the over.
And Jeff seems pretty cool to hug. He's down to hug anytime somebody asks. So
yeah. I must have been on drugs or something.
Maybe. Speaking of other things you can go do when you're on drugs, you can go to witoutplayoutcast.com. On the left, if you hit the link that says fantasy, you can see all of our bets there and our scoring. Oh, and we were going to have a scoring discussion. So the scoring as I have it for this week. I'm just going to start with how I have it. Nick, you came in the weekend last with 35 points. You got 1 each from Tevin and Tiffany because they survived Tribal Council, and 3 from Hunter because he survived Tribal and 2 votes were put against him. You get extra points when you survive votes on you because you want to kind of get that player that's riding the line of almost being voted out. It's kind of like playing with fire. And in this game, fire represents your life, so it's more points. So that's 5 onto your 35, giving you 40. Ryan, you came in the weekend second, and you had Venus, Charlie, and Kenzie. Charlie got you 1 point for surviving. Kenzie got you 2 because she won that immunity challenge. And Venus got you 3 because she survived 2 votes. So that is 6 onto your 36, giving you 42. I had Q and Ben, who only got me 1 point for surviving Tribal. Maria got me another point for winning the immunity challenge, and I got 3 votes from that $1 million Deadpool. So that is 7 onto my 41, giving me 48. So it's me with 48, Brian with 42, and Nick with 40 in a very close season. What were we going to say about reward?
All right. So last week I agreed that should not count because that's just the merge feast.
Mm-hmm.
In theory, everyone gets the merge feast. The reason the other, those 6 people or whoever it was, 7 people, didn't get to join the merge feast was because they weren't merged. They earned their merge buff afterwards. Mm-hmm. This is not a merge feast. It's a team win, but that's still going on a feast together. So that's my take on it.
See, it's tough because in the pre-merge, they do immunity and reward tied together all the time, right? Like here's immunity plus fish, here's immunity plus a tarp, here's immunity plus fishing gear, right? And they only get the points for winning the challenge. They don't also get the points for getting the reward. Right?
But this is no longer the tribal part.
Yeah. See, and I think last week, I was more specifically talking about, Brian said that all of the people who got the merge feast would also get the win of feast for the Christian hat trick. And I think even here, the only person who quote unquote won a feast was Maria, because she's the one who lasted till the very end and she won that feast. Other people got to eat it, but she's the one who won the feast.
Technically, Tevin won it too, because as soon as the other side was down, they won it.
But Tevin didn't win it. Maria won it. Marina won the challenge and got the feast.
Yes, but it doesn't matter because it was down to the 2 of them. They already won the feast.
Okay,
it didn't matter which one of them won.
I'm thinking of in the spirit of Christian Hubicki. He came out here with these 3 things on his checklist, so I think of them as personal achievements, right? That this person has achieved. I don't think Tevin's going to come off of Survive and be like, I won a feast because Maria won the challenge.
Yes,
right?
Maria's not going to think that either. She's going to say, we won a feat because we outlasted the other 6 people that happened to be
No, she's going
randomly
to think because
selected.
I outlasted those motherfuckers. I did it.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say about Yanu. They're all really fucking cocky for how very badly they were doing until the merge. But I get Kenzie this time talking about, man, we were so bad, but I was doing so great at these challenges. I'm like, you came in 3rd. What are you talking about?
I mean, hey, she won immunity, though.
She was also lasted like a quarter of a second longer than who was that? Tiff, I think.
She got that necklace. So do we want to do points for getting reward this time?
I say for this one, yes.
How about you, Brian?
It just feels correct. I know I should have something more than it feels correct, but I don't. So
that's fine. I'm gonna stick with my win a feast for this episode is only Maria and not also Tevin. But I'm willing to do points because more points is more fun, right? It's fun getting points.
Yes, points is fun.
Does that sound good to you, Brian? If you eat, you get reward points.
No, because that doesn't get me any points. It gives both of you points. That sounds fucking awful.
Well, and technically, it does say in the point scoring, you win individual reward challenge. But we've been flexing on that.
Yeah,
actually, looking at it, I did score it wrong. It should be 2 points for that, not 1. So let me fix this.
At first, I was going to say that it should count because because they did win food, but because of how I was just explaining, well, like technically. Like, she didn't win the food. Like, they had already won the food when Tevin was still up. So that's why it shouldn't count.
All right. Fine. It doesn't count.
Okay.
All right. Well, then, we will... Now that we have had our little tete-a-tete, I declare this episode completed.
Wait. I do want to note, we had a double elimination with a total of only 3 players on the bench, and none of us lost a player this episode. I think that's miraculous, given our track record.
I almost lost,
fantasy.
2, so yeah. I could have lost 2 of them.
That would have worked out great for you.
That would have been hysterical, come to think of it.
Who's left? Just Liz. Okay, yeah. She can stay there.
So nobody's doing any ads or drops?
No, I don't want Liz.
Can't imagine anyone wants it. Like, we went over it. She's not even trying. She's just hanging out.
Someone's going to have to end up getting her next week, though, on episode Several +1.
But I don't know why they're considering Venus, like, again. Because I'm like, she can't be trusted. Okay, but literally everyone thinks she can't be trusted. So there's nothing to fear from her.
No, that's what I was saying earlier. They, like, Tevin was talking about it, like, he and, was it Maria he was talking to? Yeah, he was talking to Maria, and they were like, yeah, she's a known entity. She's not actually a threat. So, yeah, that's why they didn't go for her. The only people who voted for her was Soda, and, I don't remember who else voted for her.
Fuck. I'll look it up.
I can't remember how they were split up.
It's all right. We don't need to look
Whatever.
it up.
It's not that important.
Yeah, it's not important. We got it. Okay. Well, in that case, then we'll see everyone next week. And, just, be cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. All right. Like I said, you can tell I'm starting to feel tired, so I'm going to go to bed.
Good night.
Night. Bye-bye.
Did you just call me baby?